Oh, Twilight Tragedy, you failed me? Asked Discord, in that sickening, full of compassionate tone he so loves as he sits on his throne. How disappointing of you. I'm sorry, Master. An older pony was there. They knew you'd send me and had a trap set. I managed to erase that one, sir, but I had to retreat for the time being. They laughed and said you must be slipping, letting your second-in-command walk into a trap so easily, I reply, looking up at him, bruises covering my face and upper body. I have a pleading, miserable, fearful look in my eyes, like a beaten dog expecting to be punished. Discord gets furious, glaring straight down at me, his normal silliness vanishing in an instant. Oh, did they? Well, I think it's time those precious little fillies get a visit from their master. I'll punish you when I return. And do get that dragon ready for my next ride. I have a feeling I'll have a few corpses to parade around my kingdom. He growled, disappearing in a flash of light. I smirk as he goes, standing up tall and wiping the blood from my mouth. Watching liar Jack for so long has made me a pretty crafty liar myself. You sure you want me to do this, Twilight? Asked Apple Pie, the little filly staring up at me, fear in her eyes. I nodded quickly, a determination in my eyes that I had to be very careful to hide from my master. Yes, don't worry. I'm immortal. You can't kill me that easily. Just give me everything you've got. For this to work, Discord really has to think you kicked my flanks. Don't hold back one bit. Apple Pie nodded with a sad sigh. All right, hold still, she muttered, before turning around, taking aim with her hind legs right at my face. Apple Pie is definitely an apple. Even the sweet Apple Acres is now who knows what. That changes from day to day. Last I checked, it was covered in snow and on fire at the same time. My name is Twilight Tragedy. At least, that's what Master Discord calls me. Oh, I remember when I called him Master and believed I meant it for real. He thinks I still do. I don't know how long we've lived in this rotten dystopia of his. It's easy to lose track of time when you're immortal. But given how long it's been, it was only a matter of time until the old man slipped up and one of us broke free without his knowing. I walked down around my room. Master's out taking a ride on Spike. Nothing for me to do but read up on the latest black magic he wants me to try out. As I lift up the book, something catches my eye. A little scroll, shoved in between the desk and my bed. For some reason, I feel like it's calling out to me. My horn lights up as I telekinetically pull the paper from its hiding place. Unrolling it, I instantly notice something. It's my horn writing, but I don't remember writing it. Then I read what's written on it. Friendship is magic. Friendship is magic? But tragedy is magic. That's what Master has always told me. Why don't I remember writing this? It's my horn writing. I had to have written this. Maybe the Master is playing a game with me? But then, why? Why does it seem so familiar? Why does it sound so right? I head into my room, opening an old book I found in my Master's personal collection. He'd given me access to it. Having his personal assassin up to snuff on all the deadliest spells is useful. And being immortal, seeing me mess up on them was a favorite pastime of his. And now, he's going to regret it. That's not the only thing he's going to regret. I walk down the hall. Friendship is magic? Why? Why does that just click? Why do I feel like it's important? Why do I feel like it's right? I can't ask the Master. I know that. Why do I know that? What's going on? I see adult orange earth pony walking past me. A thought comes to my mind. Liarjack, I call, getting her to turn to face me. Yeah, Twilight, she asked, looking at me. Tragedy is magic, right? I ask, innocently as possible. Of course it is, Twilight. No doubt about it. Funny thing about Liarjack, she lies. Even I knew it. I know Apple Pie and her friends won't be able to hide from him. I feel a pang of guilt in my heart. But I know that if this succeeds, their sacrifice won't be in vain. I can't let it be in vain. I get out a clocking calendar, as well as all the ingredients I would need. The irony of all this ending in the same way it began doesn't escape me. I'm just sending another message to myself. I look over the letter once more. Master is busy rearranging the glass menagerie that used to be Manhattan into a giant board game, which he then intends to play. What does it mean? I whisper. My head feels like it's burning, like something is trying to break out inside my brain. I was curious originally, but I'd asked Liarjack about it, and her answer just confirms my suspicions that something was wrong. Hell, I can't think of anything else. If I sent myself this letter, somehow, I wonder if I write a letter of my own. Friendship is magic? What does that mean? I slide the letter back where I found the first one, putting a darker ribbon on it to identify it as different, just in case. A few weeks later, I find a new ribbon on it, and so it continued that way, until I could remember it. I could remember everything. Time magic is a tricky, risky thing, you know. If the situation wasn't so dire, I'd never do this, but it's not like there's a possible future worse than this one. Summoning as much power as I can, I concentrate on sending my thoughts back into time, another message to myself. One moment in time, it'll matter the most. Maybe once the world stops being kind, maybe when the world stops being playful, maybe that's when we stop too. With Applejack, the first of my friends I formerly made in Ponyville, still next to me, I look at the part of the sky Rainbow Dash flew away towards. Why did she leave us? She wouldn't without a reason. I know whatever it was, it had to be important. Maybe loyalties only last until something bigger comes along. So much for the ponytail of the loyal samurai. Maybe friendship only lasts until the world applies just the right pressure. Is this the truth Applejack didn't want me to see? Friendship Report 25. Pinkie Pie learned that she should always expect the best from her friends, and never assume the worst. I give a blink of confusion. Where did that thought come from? Or was it just a memory? I remember. That was the day that Pinkie Pie almost went insane because she assumed we'd all abandoned her, and we were simply unable to tell her what we were really doing. I look back up as Rainbow Dash flies off. Am I doing the same? Am I just assuming the worst? Maybe she knows something I don't, just like we knew we were throwing Pinkie Pie a surprise party and she didn't. I look at Applejack. Just because she's been lying all this time doesn't mean I shouldn't think this is one. She told the truth about Rainbow flying away. Before I can sort things out, the maze wall began to crash down around us, vanishing. The effect is immediate. New memories rush into my mind, ones that weren't there before. A sudden epiphany about not thinking the worst of my friends, restoring my hope just before I lost it, calling Discord out on cheating, him showing me my mistake. The elements weren't in the maze. I begin to lose hope again. It's not enough. I concentrate again, powering up the spell once more. I was wrong. Whatever happened to my friends? This is my fault. Wait, he's never played fair. Why should I have expected him to? No matter what I did, he'd have done whatever he could to cheat. That's right. Discord is a cheater. It didn't matter which choice I made. There was no right one. But what does it matter then? No matter what I do, a cheater can still be beaten. As long as I have hope, I can't give up. I can't quit just because it seems too hard. Did Fluttershy back down when that dragon was on the rampage? Did Rainbow Dash stop when she saw how far Rarity was from her during that fall? No, so what gives me the right to quit now? If I give up now, Discord wins. Where are all these ideas coming from? Right though, if I give up now, Discord does win. If I keep trying, he might win. And all the plus tree is counting on me. I can't afford to give up now. More new memories, rushing to Ponyville. There they are, the elements. But they don't work. No, I'm giving up again. But wait, what's this? Memories of letters rushing to me from the princesses. My own friendship letters. I see my own darkness being washed away. I see myself pinning my friends down one by one and restoring their memories, their true selves. I smile as one glorious memory enters my mind. The look of shock on my master's face as he's beaten. I use another new spell I know on the mirror before me, causing it to distort and change to show me events happening elsewhere. I see Discord, surrounded by dozens of maimed, dead, and dying ponies, many of which aren't even recognizable anymore. New friends. I let rage rise inside of me, being the one thing I have left to do. Discord laughs that stupid laugh of his, apple pie's throat firmly in his lion paw. I've enjoyed this game, but I'm afraid it's time for it to end, he said, smirking and scratching his chin. Now what should I do to the little ringleader? He asked, looking thoughtful. Oh, I know. I think I'll... Discord screamed as apple pie bit down on his paw, causing him to drop the little filly. You little brats, you actually bit me! I ain't going down without a fight! Exclaimed the little filly, jumping at Discord and attempting to buck him in the face. Discord just teleports behind her and whips her away with his tail. Oh, how cute. You actually think you could fight me, stated Discord with a chuckle. That hasn't worked well for anyone else. Are you certain that's a game you want to play? Miss Mimic did a pretty good job. That's why you're missing a tooth, ain't it? Discord's eyes went wide. How do you know about that? He exclaimed, taken off guard at the mention of the only pony to ever successfully hurt him. Well, until today. Alphi leapt up while Discord was distracted and bucked him right in the face. Stunned by the kick, Discord was left open to another kick in the face. Funny thing about not feeling pain often? It hurts a lot more when you finally do get hurt. Alphi goes for a third kick, but Discord finally teleports out of the way. Oh right, now you're just getting annoying, he growled, snapping his fingers. Razor-sharp playing cards manifested and tried to lacerate poor Apple Pie, but little Philly manages to dodge and jump into the air towards Discord. Discord snickers, then looks surprised, left open as Apple Pie kicked him right in the head. He smirked, knowing why he didn't just teleport away. The time change is starting to catch up with him. Apple Pie takes advantage and gives him a quartet of kicks right to the skull. Finally, a loud crack resounds through the air. Discord's horn went flying into the air and embedded into the ground nearby, causing a pained cry. Looking close, I noticed gray stone where the crack happened. My horn! You actually hurt me! Exclaimed Discord in complete disbelief, holding the bleeding stump where his horn used to be. Apple Pie chuckled. Yeah, not bad for a little filly, huh? Discord snarled in rage, his composure dissolving into almost animalistic anger. Oh yes, and it'll be the last thing you ever do! He yells at the top of his lungs, fury filling every word that this mere filly had actually managed to hurt him. I promise you that! You don't want to know what happened next. Just know that when the ancient unicorn mimic managed to bust out Discord's tooth, he turned her bones to glass and slammed her into the ground at sonic rainboom speeds over and over again, and vaporized her body. How pleasant might be no less brutal. My blood boils like fire, and I let my tears flow freely. Discord panted in fury, a murderous rage in his eyes as he stood over what was left of the filly who had broken his horn, probably wondering how he'd been rendered unable to teleport, only to notice something. Particles of light rising off the bodies of his victims, and slowly fading away. What? I didn't do that, he muttered, watching the bodies vanish. He then looks back at his tail, and his eyes widen with shock. No, no! He exclaimed, fear in his eyes as he sees stone slowly but surely began spreading across his body. It'll take Discord far longer to make it here than before, if the spell acts as it should. I have a lot to do before he gets here. And to make sure he does get here, I cast a temporal displacement spell on the two of us, ready to wait until he's as weak as I need him to be. I'm going to enjoy this. But first I find Magica, looking torn, a conflicted look on her face. I see little bits of light coming off her, heading towards Ponyville. That's a good sign, exactly what I hoped would happen. I let her rest her head on my shoulder, crying softly. Twa, I didn't mean to lie. You told me our friendship was gonna break. I just understand the truth. This is all my fault. Applejack, it's okay. You don't have to lie anymore. Not now, not ever again. Discord tricked you, just like he tricked all of us. Now we're all getting a second chance, even if we don't remember it. Just don't make the same mistake twice. I've already forgiven you. Me and my past self, too. I remember. The darkness fades from her body, reverting her to her normal colors. She looks up and gives me a genuine smile. Thanks, Twilight. Just don't go lying to yourself now, she whispers as she fades away completely. I'll be seeing you soon, I guess. She disappears into light. I let the bitterness towards the one making me witness this grow. Her words still stick to me. Next was Fluttercruel, though hers was a bit strange, I'll admit. Two streams of light, separate but unified, rose off of them. Before I could say anything, they turned to me instead. It's alright, Twilight. Everything will be okay. Don't say we never have to be cruel again, said Fluttershy. At least I think it was. Fluttershy's body language changed completely, to a more strong-willed pony instead. I think I understand now. Sometimes, the kindest thing is to be cruel. Better to pull out a throne than let it fester. They smiled and faded. I don't know what to think about that one, but I feel strangely good. I head to Rarity's room, expecting to find her in a similar condition. Instead, I'm greeted by Tom being hurled right through the door in the window behind me, followed by several other smaller rocks the poor mare had been hypnotized into thinking were gems. Rarity? I asked, poking my head through the window. Rarity was throwing rocks out of windows and in all directions, tears streaming down her face. Stupid rocks! I don't want to! She screamed, throwing another, forcing me to dodge. Rarity! I yell again, trying to get her attention. She twirls around, looking at my face in surprise, and wraps her hoods around me, sobbing her eyes out. All I can do is hug her back. I feel a praying fire inside me, directed towards the one putting her through all this misery. I feel the fire growing. I'll keep burning it there. I don't want any of this, Twilight! The poor mare sobbed. Even if they were gems, I wouldn't. The only thing I want is Sweetie Belle. I just let it slip away all this time. I missed out life. Now I just want it back. She cried, even as she began to fade away a bit. Rarity, you're getting another chance now. I don't have time to explain, but you'll have a second chance. You'll have Sweetie Belle back, I promise. We're probably never going to remember this consciously, but never forget how much Sweetie Belle means to you, how important she is to you. Don't let your desires get between you and her ever again. Promise me, Rarity, that you won't. Plead, looking her right in the eyes. Promise me! Rarity's colors return as she continues fading. She gives me a smile, and we hug. I swear, I shall never go through this again, she said, tears running down her face as she too fades away in my forelegs. Next was Angry Pie, who was, well, not Angry Pie. She was presently wearing a party hat, throwing the various weapons she'd wielded against anything that had ever laughed at her out the window. Gummy, restored to his original infant self, was sitting there, staring at his owner happily. I look around, finding her normally dank and dreary room made up like a party was happening. Does she know what's happening? She looks almost more sane than I remember her, no matter what she's doing, even before Discord got his claws on her. Pinky? I asked, confusion in my voice. Pinky gave a gasp and was in front of me before I could even move, smiling ear to ear. Oh, how I missed that smile. Once more, I stroked the fire towards the one who stole it for so long. Hey, Twilight, welcome to the party! Exclaimed the pink pony, placing a party hat on my head. party? I reply, my brain trying hard to remember what's happening. Even if I remember her parties, after Applejack and Rarity, I wasn't expecting this. Fluttershy was strange, but she wasn't like this. Yeah, our rebirth party! We're all gonna be brand new ponies now! If you can have a birthday party, why can't you have a rebirthday party? He exclaims, just dripping happiness. My eyes widen. You know? How do you? Oh, it's a long story, but this kind of happened to me before. It's a really, really long story, and I don't have time to explain now. That's why I didn't have time to invite every pony else, but I'll make up for that, I promise! But this time I understand. This is happening because this world is really bad, and the new one will be how it's supposed to be, and every pony will be happy again, said Pinkie in her normal, rapid voice. But let's party until I get reborn, okay? I give a small smile. I almost stopped myself from laughing before reminding myself I don't need to anymore. For the first time in Celestia knows how long, I laugh. I have fun. So does Pinkie Pie. Even as Pinkie begins to fade, we dance and have fun as much as we can until Pinkie's fading begins to speed up. It was great, Twilight. I wish it could have lasted longer. And I know I might not remember it this time, but that's alright. It was worth it just to see you smile again. I know you've got a lot of important things to do. Just don't keep us waiting too long. I think I'm going to be throwing a big party. It'll last for 3 weeks. Then you cut off my copy and I fall asleep and undergo character development. I wouldn't miss it for the world, Pinkie. I don't care if she sounds nuts. She's her again. That's all that matters. Pinkie swear! Alright. Cross my heart, hope to fly, stick a cupcake in my, I say, going through the motions, and jamming my hoof right into the eye. Naturally, I give a yelp. I could never get that part right. Pinkie hugs me anyway, and I hug her back, watching her fade away in my host with a big smile. One left, Trader Dash. I find her curled up in a room, confused and distraught. She looks up at me as I enter, her body faded like the rest, a tad more so since I spent so long with Pinkie Pie. Twilight, I'm sorry. I figured that out a long time ago, Rainbow. I know what happened. I figured it out when you remember how it used to be, but still called yourself a traitor, I say, once more using her real name. I pull her to her hose and hug her. I forgive you, I reply, tears going down my own cheeks as she fades in my grasp. I'm sure the me I'm going to be will forgive you too. I see her mane slowly turn back to its proper color as she fades away too. And the fire in me grows. I see dark spots begin to spread over my back like cancers. I'm going to make him pay for putting Rainbow through this. I head into Spike's chamber. The protective spell I used to keep myself tethered here just a bit longer is beginning to weaken, but it's got to last. I'm not done yet. There are still some things I've got to do. I put my hoof on the massive dragon's snout, seeing bits of him fading as well. I can't speak anymore. He lost that capability when he annoyed Discord too much. All I can do is lean in, resting my head on his as he fades, tears streaming down my face. I know what's happening. I know this is for the best. I wonder why it still hurts to see my friends fade away. Why do I feel guilty knowing Apple Pie and the others probably died at Discord's claws, but I know the life we'll receive will be so much greater? I don't know. Some things we'll never know. I don't care. I like it. Because the flame's inside of me. This is what I want. I want to make him pay for all of this. As I walk down the path towards the town where my final act will take place, I look over, seeing Derpyhost cradling Dinky. No longer a pony-shaped muffin, but a living, breathing foal. Mommy, Mr. Muffin. Mommy loves you. Mommy promises she'll never let anyone take your little muffin away ever again, she repeats, her and her foal slowly continuing to fade, tears streaming down both their faces as they embrace and fade away into a new life. I let my memories of the horrors Discord put that poor mare and her beloved child through feed the flames. I find him crawling weakly towards his palace, his body turning to stone slowly but surely. Most of his tail's gone, faded away. Twilight tragedy, what's going on? Asked Discord, fear and uncertainty in his voice. He can hardly move. His power is gone. Perfect. I let all my anger, all my rage, feed that fire. Not that fire of friendship. Something else. It's Twilight Sparkle, Discord! And what's happening is things going back to how they're meant to be, I say. Feels good to call myself that. Is it wrong to enjoy seeing him like this? Maybe, but after so long, I don't care. I let the black spots spread over me as my mane begins to smoke when the fire's inside me. But how can you? Because you slipped up, Master! Remember all those times you let me off your leash just to pull me back? I ask, enjoying every second of this. I wrote myself a little message during one of those times. You know what I wrote? I glared right in his eyes. They go wide in shock. Friendship is magic, I tell him, stomping right up to his face. And that got me thinking, so I sent myself back a letter, back and forth until my memories broke your spell. This entire time I've been acting like your little pawn? I ask. I tricked you. Discord looks at me in complete disbelief. But my spell, that's not possible. You can't have that smart of me. You're just a pony. I'm the Lord of Chaos. I've existed longer than the entire history. How can you possibly outsmart me? Oh, it's possible, Discord, I reply, taking a few steps back as the shadows spread on and through me. And here's something else that's possible. Thanks to you, I found a little time spell. Enough to send something back to myself 1,000 years ago. A few tidbits of information that gave her the result to avoid failing where I did. And guess what, Discord? She and the others beat you. That means in the timeline overriding this one, you're a powerless statue. And that's what you're becoming now! I state, watching Stone continue to snake up his body and then fade away. I see the fear in his face. The same fear that he loved inflicting on every pony else for so long. I relish in that fear. You know something else? I ask. I mean bursting into shadowy fire. I'm not. My body contorts and changes as I let the flames I've been feeding all this time finally consume me. Why not make sure this monster pays for every second of it at the hands of something he himself created? I feel skeletal wings erupt from my back and shadowy flames ignite in them. My tail follows the same path as my mane as my body grows into that of an alicorn. I see my fur turning a deep purple. I look over my shoulders to see bony armored plates burst out of my flesh to cover my back, razor-sharp spikes covering them. I feel a helmet forming in my head, my horn growing out. My whole body is burning, but I know it'll be worth it. It'll be worth seeing every last bit of what I'm about to do. What I am is your nightmare, I call, my voice sounding ghostly, like a banshee almost. I almost scared myself with it. A nightmare born from the flames of vengeance, fed by the loss of ones I hold most dear to me. You've taken away everything that matters to me again and again and again. And all you've done is feed the fires that are about to consume you, Discord. Got a catchy name for me now? No, I've got one. Tell me what you think. Discord's eyes widen. He tries to crawl away from me. My horn glows as I slam my front hooves down on the ground, causing flaming, spiked chains to erupt from the ground like snakes, wrapping their way around his arms and pulling him to the ground, piercing his flesh and causing him to scream in agony. Timer Purgatory, the most vengeful friend! No, you can't do this to me! Yelled Discord, quaking in terror as he looks up at me. For the first time in his life, afraid of death. Good. I make my chains pick him up and slam him hard back into the ground 3 times. I stomp forward, the earth blazing beneath my hooves. I make the blazing chains go through his wrists and ankles. I listen to him roar in agony with a smirk. Just like you wouldn't let Mimic be the one to ruin your flawless face, I ask, clicking his tooth. He gasps in surprise. Like the one pony to ever hurt you, I state, never letting my eyes leave his. You're ashamed of that, aren't you? I bet you're ashamed you got your horn snapped like a twig by a little filly, too. Well, guess what? I'm going to remind you what pain feels like before we fade into a new world! I yelled as the chains tear backward, pulling Discord off the ground and holding him against a stone wall, arms held out as if he was crucified. What it's like to be at someone's mercy, what it's like to feel scared like you made every pony else feel! Another chain bursts from my chest, from my heart. I don't care about the stabbing, horrible pain. It doesn't matter. Take careful aim, pointing the chain right at his black heart. Beg, I say simply as the smell of his flesh burning from contact with my chains enters the air. Come on, beg for your miserable no-good life! Discord looks at me in absolute terror, and slowly grins, as if he's realizing something. I've taught you well, Twilight. My eyes widen as his words pierce deep into my soul. I look at a puddle of chocolate milk sitting nearby, the process of slowly changing back into water. The skull-like helmet on my head, the murderous look in my fiery eyes. I look back at Discord, that sick smirk, and I see it. I see the same look in his eyes. Come on, do it. It doesn't matter, really. You're going to be reborn anyway. No one will ever know if you impale me here and now, said Discord, using what little power he has left to form a target over his black heart and a pair of sunglasses on his face. He probably thinks this is the first time he's used this trick. I'm ready to die now. I snarl, launching my chain forward, Discord closing his eyes with a smirk, only for the chain to swing right in front of his face, shattering his remaining tooth to bits, causing him to let out a roar of pain, blood pouring from his mouth. I swing the chain back around and snap off his other horn as well, earning a second roar of pain. The chains all fade away into nothingness. The glowing 6-point star appears on my forehead, its power spreading through my body, peeling back the darkness. I feel it dazzling the fires as my body returns normal. Finally, my colors come back to me, restored as I stand in shattered bone armor. Now they match, I state, then trot up to him, looking him in the eyes, using my telekinesis to tear the sunglasses off his face and throw them aside. And that'll be my payback, Discord, because you know what? I'm not like you. I'm not going to murder someone in cold blood who can't defend themselves, no matter what they did to me. Not a heartless monster like you. I've beaten you and saved the world. I've got nothing more to prove, and even if I or anyone else never remembers it, I'm not going to become the thing I saved it from. I'm going to be reborn as me, not a killer or a nightmare. I'm going to be reborn as Twilight Sparkle, and I'm not going to have any regrets when that happens. I look him right in the eyes, which are wide with shock and disbelief. I give a sincere smile. So I'm letting go of everything you've done to me. I'm letting go of the pain you put me through all this time. I'm even letting go of everything you did to my friends and loved ones. I don't want any of it anymore. Most importantly, I forgive you. I start walking away, looking back over my shoulder, seeing Discord stare at me in complete disbelief as he continues to fade, blood running from his shattered tooth and his severed horn. I wonder if what little of this he subconsciously remembers in the new timeline will ever have an effect on him. I don't care. For the first time since I started all this, I don't care anymore. I didn't have to become a murderer to save the world. I didn't have to become the thing I was fighting. Now I can be reborn without any regrets, any pain, any old grudges. I can be reborn in peace. Well, come to think of it, I still have one last thing to do. I stand, looking up at the 2 gold and silver statues of Celestia and Luna as they, and I, begin to fade. I look over to an unmarked grave. I see light rising from it too, heading to Ponyville? I don't have time to think about that. I look up to Celestia's statue as it fades. Dear Princess Celestia, I say, closing my eyes as my body continues to fade away. I learned that even when everything is hopeless, when it seems the bleakest, that's when friendship is the most important. As long as we don't forget what our friendships mean to us, there will always be hope. As long as there's hope, there's a chance to set things right. And also, we need to remember that even if someone hurts our friends, it doesn't give us an excuse to become just like them in return. You can still stand up for your friends without acting like a monster yourself. Your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. I open my eyes to see both princesses, restored and fading themselves, hanging over me, smiling. I smile back. We sit together as everything goes white, and my memories of this world fade, replaced by memories of a new one.